talked about this before, which is how often do you think you should go in and do a relook and an analysis of your keyword strategy to make sure that you're on target? And, not necessarily keeping up with the Joneses, but maybe looking at the trends, as you had mentioned before. And maybe there might be even seasonal trends that you work with a client on. And so maybe you could talk a little bit about that and what you find as being effective for smaller businesses and mid-sized companies that take advantage of trying to find a better way to, work against their competitors. Because really we're all in the same boat here, which is we're trying to, be on top of the next guy.
Right. Well, I would say minimally look at where you're at on a quarterly basis, minimally. I'm kind of ridiculous with some of the stuff. I'm looking at my clients' data daily, sometimes twice a day. It's ridiculous, But for most people, if you're managing your own keyword strategy, I would say probably try not to look at it every day. It's almost a sickness. But, definitely look at it look at it, evaluate it on minimally a quarterly basis because it does take a little bit of time. And now I'm also talking from an organic SEO standpoint. I know that you focus a lot on pay-per-click. Now, pay-per-click is something that you're going to look at and you're going to keep tabs on. You're going to evaluate constantly until you really figure out what are those keyword phrases, and you're kind of sculpting your whole entire campaign. With natural search engine optimization, it takes a little bit longer to see certain results. So that you don't dilute your whole campaign, you want to give it a good, fair shake on certain keyword phrases. And then once you start seeing that you're making some movement and getting into places where you should be getting traffic, and then you can start evaluating the traffic and evaluating how it's translating into new customers and clients. And also you mentioned about seasonal things. I had a client that I picked up just before last Christmas season in 2010. And we wrote a few blog posts that were related to the holiday season. Went nowhere. But I'm telling you, this past Christmas in 2011, it really gave him a huge spike in his traffic. And the poor guy was just extremely busy all holiday season, and he just wasn't used to it. So that's definitely something to look at. Like, seasonal, people do kind of get a little jazzed about that, but because it takes a little while, you can think in terms of like, okay, I'm going to write this and get this out there this year, because come next year around Christmas or Thanksgiving, I can really pump this out, and you'll have a lot more, a little bit of age and authority built up there too, which will help you.
Well, that's great. I think this is all great information, and I think we've gone through really the basics of keywords. And I know there's a lot of derivative pieces here that we could go through and probably do an hour on this, but I think we should save that maybe for an advanced session. But I want to thank you for jumping on this interview. And Chris, tell us a little bit about your program where you can have a subscription to utilize yourself, and also where do we find you and how do we get in touch with you?
Sure. Well, my main website is darlingonlinemarketing.com, and that's where I have my blog and all kinds of great information. And I help clients on a private client basis. But what you have talked about is I've launched this. It's called my Be the Obvious Choice.com. It's my membership club, and I'm really excited about it because it really is my passion and my mission to really help a lot of the small to medium-sized businesses to really kind of get over this technology barrier and really figure out how they're going to compete with the big corporate conglomerates, and how they're going to become visible online, and how they're going to stand out from everybody else and be the obvious choice online. So, and if you don't have the budget, it can get a little overwhelming, because to have someone like you or I work for them on a private client basis. A lot of these small businesses just don't have the budget. So I created this site just for that, BeTheObviousChoice.com. And, whether it's a solopreneur or even a larger organization and they want to designate someone to get in there, become a member, we go over everything in that membership club. It's extremely interactive, and I go over things all the way from helping them get a search engine optimized website online, all the way to email marketing, because it's really important to build that client base, build that email list, email marketing, and working on conversions. and everything in between. And I'm really excited about that. So, yeah, I could go on about that for a
No, that's
while.
great. So, and an email address to contact you?
Chris at darlingseo.com works.
Great, great.
And talk to Chris D on Skype.
Okay, great. And again, this is a great start to discuss, I think, the basics of keywords, and hopefully we'll get another chance down the line here to talk a little bit more about, more, I think, the essence of trying to now infiltrate into, some of the social media aspects of using your keywords, and things that we could talk on certain aspects of how you integrate it in another session, maybe next month, as we get down the path of working, sort of hand in hand. And I really appreciate it. I love all the emails that come into my email box, and I really highly recommend subscribing to, your blog or any one of the, the services that you have on your site that, cater towards, internet marketing. Whether you're a small business, you're a solopreneur, entrepreneur, mid-sized business, it all makes sense. It's all really good material, and you've really come up to a point where you've got visibility, and that's key.
Thanks. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll hopefully get another session in next month. But for all you out there listening, thanks for jumping on and looking at this video, and we'll see you the next time. Take
Awesome.
care.
All right.